Hi, we're here on the farm, and Jonathan has agreed to be our guest video today because I don't have another video for today. I don't have any more of Frank. I'm recording him on Friday, and so I thought it'd be fun to give you a little tour of the ravens. So up here at the Mossy Ledge Farm, which is where we live, this is the original barn that Jonathan built. And there's the sign, Mossy Ledge Farm, that he made by hand and painted by hand because that's how he rolls. And this is the yard where the dog kind of gets the ball thrown. There's Jonathan with Gia. Oh, there's Gia. Y'all haven't seen Gia in a while. Hanging out with Jonathan. He's waiting for me to give our little tour and then come find him. And the garden and the orchard beyond it. There's the new barn that we raised about 2 or 3 years ago. When did we raise the barn, honey? 2 years ago? 3 years ago. And then below the barn is, you can see it comes down, there's like stairs in the middle there, and they go down to what he calls the croquet lawn. And then one more level down, and there's the pond, which did not hold water for several years, and we had to line it. And then the pergola that he built like, I don't know, 20 years ago at this point. The stairs leading down. There's a giant pile of grapevine brush and rose bush brush and whatnot. So we did a big trim over the weekend. So that's kind of what all this mess is. And Bacchus is here, actually. One of our favorite little, I'm going to walk down. One of our favorite little statues is Bacchus, who's of course the little god of wine, which is appropriate for this place because he's centered right in the middle of all the grapevines. Anyway, what I thought I would do is ask Jonathan, oh look, there's Gia, to talk about our ravens. So we've mentioned a couple times that we have some ravens hanging at the edges of our yard, and we call them Edgar and Poe. And Edgar is the male, and he's got a really fluffy beard and lots of feathers. And then there's Poe, who is the female, or the wifey poo, and she sits on the nest. So, hey honey.
Hello.
So this is Jonathan, everybody, and we're out here in the yard. It's the afternoon of March 25th. And I've been down at the center all day, and I came home and begged Jonathan to do a video for me so we'd have something to air for the guest video for tomorrow. So there may be a video, actually. I'm going to tag Melinda Baxter in this. We may do a plunge video pretty soon because there's a huge group of people who are plunging in icy cold water every day of the quarantine. They are crazy people, but I suppose I could do that so easily, and I choose not to, oddly enough. Anyway, okay, so Johnny Cakes, which is what we call Jonathan, tell us about the ravens.
So probably everybody knows ravens are big black birds, and they're pretty easily confused with crows. One of the best ways to tell them apart is the tail. So when they're flying, if you look, the back of a tail's crow is more square, whereas the back of a raven's raven's tail comes out to a point.
Got it.
And we've got Edgar sitting up there in the tree. I don't know if he'll fly for us or not. He likes to sit up there. I think Poe is sitting on the nest right now. Typically,
I'm gonna pan over a little bit, kind of slowly.
Yeah, hard to see the nest very well from here, but we've been able to.
It's right here in the edge of the trees.
Well, you can actually see it better from right here.
All right, I'm gonna walk.
Yeah, she's on the nest right now. But
all right, I'm zooming out so that when I walk, it's not weird. Okay, let me walk.
So,
oh yeah, I see it. Oh yeah, there it is, right in the middle of the screen. Okay, so I'm gonna zoom in now, everybody, and we'll see if we can find the nest in this video. It's literally directly in the middle of the screen is the nest, and we promise you she's sitting on it, and there are probably eggs in there, which is really exciting. Okay, so do you know how long she'll sit there?
I think it's about a month or so. I had looked it up the other day, and typically she stays on the nest with the eggs, and he will fly around and find food and bring it back to her. And as you know, we've been feeding them. We try to do that on a daily basis.
Like what?
Mostly it ends up being things like pizza scraps and things like that. We did a fair amount of reading. So, one of the interesting things, if you're familiar with British history, is that they keep ravens at the Tower of London because there's um, a, a thing, a myth, whatever you want to call it.
Long-standing, loved
Long-standing
tradition.
There you go. That if the ravens ever leave the Tower of London, that the monarchy and the kingdom will fall apart, and so they.
And what that might be happening these days.
Well, they keep 6 to 8 ravens there, and they clip their wing feathers so that they can't fly. And they
Isn't
have
that cheating?
perhaps, but if it keeps the monarchy and the kingdom going, then maybe it's not a bad thing.
Right.
So they have ravens, and so I read an interview with the raven keeper, and he talked about what he feeds them, which is mostly meat, and including things like roadkill and stuff like that.
Hang on. Loud car driving by. We live in Bowdoin. People have revved up trucks out here. Okay, go ahead.
And what I read in other places was that they are fairly adaptable in terms of their diet, and they tend to eat whatever's available. If they live primarily where there's a lot of grain and stuff like that, there's a lot of grain in their diet. And so we augment to a small amount. There's probably no shortage of stuff for them to find around here, and we don't want to replace what their diet is. So we just put out a little bit each day to try to build a relationship with them. One of the bits of information is that ravens tend to recognize people. They're among the most intelligent birds. And that if you double cross them, they will recognize you, and they will be very cagey around you, and they will try to scare you away. In some cases, they've attacked people. And
Actually, yeah, to that point, my brother chimed in at one point when we were talking about the ravens and said that a lot of the raven watchers, they have to wear a mask because that way the ravens won't recognize them. Because if something negative happens and the ravens take a dislike to the humans, they will literally all gang together and attack them, which of course reminds us all of what movie?
did everybody tell you ever look like Tippi Hedren?
Tippi Hedren and the bird. Yeah, thank you, Alfred Hitchcock, for that reference. Right, exactly. So we are super, super nice to the ravens, and to Jonathan's point, they do not need us to feed them, but I think he kind of likes it.
I do. It gives me a purpose in life, and
He's adopted.
We all seek a
He's
purpose.
adopted the ravens, and our whole neighborhood has paid attention to them hanging out and stuff. And so what we can't wait is to hear the little birdies on the nest. So that's kind of neat. I'm sure that's coming probably in the next 2 or 3 weeks, maybe.
You know, I'd have a hard time predicting a date for that, but yeah, we're very optimistic that we'll have baby ravens at some point.
Right, at some point. At some point in the next year, we'll have baby ravens. Because Poe no longer flies around. When they first made the scene, there were 2 of them, and she was around all the time, and they were out and about and shopping and, collecting groceries and hoarding toilet paper and all the things we're currently all doing right now. And now we only see Edgar, so Poe doesn't really come out that much. And we see Edgar. He swoops down and gobbles up whatever Jonathan leaves for him. But other than that, you can see him right up there on the top of that tree, just above the tree line. And he'll just sit up there and hang out for a while and kind of keep an eye on things. If you look really closely, you can see Gia there just kind of hanging around the pond, walking around. Just inspecting things as dogs will do. She's gone up the hill now to the croquet lawn, as we call it. So it's kind of a neat property. And what I'm really hoping to do is keep in touch with everybody through the course of the spring, because I know lots of people have cabin fever, and we are truly blessed to have this huge property, which Jonathan curses a little under his breath when he's mowing it every third day in the summer. But for right now, we're super happy to share our farm with all of you, to invite you to get to know Edgar and Poe, our ravens. My favorite thing Jonathan's been doing, you probably don't know this is one of my favorite things you've been doing, is you've been watching them through your grandfather's telescope. And I just think that's the coolest thing ever.
Yeah. New technology to old. If you are very careful and you put your iPhone camera up to the lens of the telescope, you can actually get pictures of them through the telescope. And by putting it right out in this area here, we've been able to actually get video of the ravens on the nest. So again,
That's
hopefully
totally
we'll
cool.
have little baby ravens, and we'll be able to do the Raven Cam from Mossy Ledge Farm, which will be a lot of fun for us.
Wouldn't that be totally cool? The Raven Cam from Mossy Ledge Farm.
Oh,
All right.
she's moving around on the nest now.
He's moving around? What?
Yeah,
So he's hopping and moving?
she is.
Oh, she's on the nest moving around? Ooh, maybe we'll get a little... Oh, yeah, I can almost see her. Oh my God, I wish I had a better camera right now. I really do not have a better camera.
We'll try to get some video later in the week, and maybe you can put that on there.
Right, okay. Yeah, because you really can't see much on this one. But
No.
anyway, okay, that's it, folks. Thank you to this handsome man for being our guest video of the day, the gentleman farmer in Maine.
Special guest ornithologist.
Oh yeah, today we're posing as ornithologists, or he is at least. I'm just posing as the videographer and chatty person. And we will see you guys soon. Okay, take care, everybody. Love you. Bye.